My mother likes to say that the first time my father kissed her, it felt like the entire world stopped. Which is adorable and romantic. Considering they wound up divorced when I was a kid, it's not exactly the stuff of happily ever afters, but she meant it in a one kiss and your dad and I knew we had a future kind of way. This is not what she meant. Not a literal stopping of a giant mechanical steel box that could plunge us to our death at any second. Blake Wilder, the Racketeer's notoriously superstitious and very grumpy goalie, has barely put his lips on mine when the elevator jolts to a grinding stop. I'm ripped from sexy to startled so quickly, I fall backwards and slam into the handrail under the mirrored wall. Oh! Pain radiates throughout my hip as I try not to lose my balance in my high heels. I'm teetering on the edge of disaster when big, strong hands land on my waist and steady me. His breath is warm in my ear.
You okay? Are you hurt?
Even though it's so dark I can't see him, I can feel him. His enormous body is everywhere, and it's both comforting and crowding. I feel like I can't breathe. That isn't romantic either, because I'm about 2 heartbeats away from a full-blown panic attack. I hate elevators. All small spaces, really, but elevators in particular. Not for any reason. I've never been trapped in one before. Oh God, I'm trapped in an elevator. But because they shudder and groan and break down constantly in dozens of movies and books and presumably in real life. Half the reason I jumped at the chance to move into Luno McNeil's old apartment over the bakery is because it has 1 flight of steps and no death box. But I refuse to let Blake know I'm internally freaking the fuck out. Show no weakness. I'm fine, I say, even as my hip throbs incessantly and I'm mentally calculating how long we can survive without fresh oxygen. Though I just had to wear the fuck me cage heels, didn't I add lightly. Blake chuckles, his deep voice rolling over me like warm honey.
Huge fan. And it's New Year's Eve. What else would you wear?
Precisely. Though I wouldn't have moved an inch if I was in sneakers. My balance is amazing. Normally it is even in heels. I live in them because I love the way they show off my calves and give me a height advantage. Doing the pinup model pageant circuit has made me stumble-proof for the most part. But Blake had broken my concentration when he bent down to kiss me, something I've not so secretly been wishing he'd do for months. We've only met a few times, but there was a sizzle between us. We flirted a little. He fished for a compliment. I refused to give it to him. That's all it's been. I'd assumed he was the type of guy who would have pursued me if he was interested, but he hadn't, and I'm not a woman who chases men. That was that. A missed connection. Nothing more, nothing less. So, yes, I was distracted by his sudden insistence we talk and his very direct compliments. And no one can anticipate an elevator screeching to a halt without warning.
Are you sure you're not hurt?
His hands start to wander up my sides and over my arms, making me shiver in the dark. My eyes are adjusting to the lack of light, and I can see his long hair brushing his shoulders, his strong jaw and his thick beard, his firm lips, and the curve of his nose. I can't read his expression, but I can read his body language. He's planning to pick right back up where we left off. I'm not hurt. Except for the bruise on my hip that's probably forming as we speak. I press my back against the wall and grip his forearms for balance as much as to stop him. Because while I do want to make out with him and show him what he's been missing, he's not grasping the obvious. We're stuck in an elevator, I point out. We should call someone.
You don't think it will just start back up?
I give a huff of impatience. Why would it do that? I sense his shrug more than I see it.
I don't know.
Exactly. Let's be proactive here. Isn't there an emergency call button?
I don't think this is an emergency.